What's going on, guys? This is Martyrs Brigade 99 coming to you once again with another session of Killzone Shadowfall. Alright guys, we're back at it with yet another addition to the Killzone multiplayer for Noobs series. And this time around, we are in the slums. Right, and not only are we in the slums, but we're going to talk about, in particular, the air support drones. Now, for the purposes of the series, I know I'm going to have to go ahead and go through all the classes and all the abilities, right? And in addition to the air support drones, there is one last ability, right? And it's kind of like a support escape. And I'll talk about that during that video. But I am really going to miss the support class. I've experimented with the scouts. I've dabbled a little bit with the assault class, but I just cannot get past how much I love the support class. And the way I see it, it really has all the benefits, right? I mean, now granted, they all have pros and cons, but the support class seems to me to have all the benefits. You have pretty good, as a matter of fact, I'm willing to say that the weapons are probably, comparatively speaking, actually, I won't even say last. I'll say second best as far as classes are concerned. Because some of the assault weapons are pretty good. If you guys pay attention, I'm pretty sure you would know that I love the sickle. Now, granted, it has its limitations. You won't be able to get a lot of long range shots, but who cares, because I like to get up close and personal. Right? So, granted, it may not have weapons as good as the assault class. It may not be able to range shots as far as with the scout class, but the support class, I mean, that's just you can't say anything about that. I absolutely love that class, and I know, like I said before, for the purposes of this series, I'm going to have to dabble in with the other classes, but I'm really going to miss playing with the support class. Right, so it is what it is. As far as the series is concerned, I have one more as far as abilities. Like I said before, there's like a support escape ability that I'm going to showcase, and then that'll be it for the support class abilities. Now, in the event that this may be the first video that you may have found for the Killzone Shadowfall multiplayer for Noobs, I plan to do a showcase of every class's abilities. Right, so I'm starting off with the support class, which is my favorite. I already talked about the ground support turrets, the spawn beacons, the supply crates. Obviously, this time I am doing the air support drones, and lastly, I'm going to do the support escape. So after I get done with the support abilities, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the assault class and its abilities, and I'll do the scout class and its abilities last. Alright, so the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that the air support drones can be upgraded. Obviously, it starts off at a level 1 and it stops at level 11. Right, at level 1, it will last for a duration of 60 seconds, and it has a 30-second cooldown. Once you get 400 kills, you will be at the maximum level for the air drones, for which they will last for 80 seconds with a 10-second cooldown. So the duration of time and the cooldown is pretty much similar to the ground support turrets. These turrets are absolutely awesome for suppressing fires and just kind of taking the attention away from the objectives, and sometimes taking the attention away from you. Right, because you'll notice in a lot of these missions where there's a lot of overhead cover, right, or is basically open air for the most part, I'll try to go ahead and drop my air support drone like either directly over the objective or a little bit past the objective, kind of like in the direction from where the opponents are approaching. Right, because if you can throw the beacons a little further out and more from the direction to where your opponents are approaching, you're more than likely able to have them, I don't know, have to fight off the drone prior to coming toward the mission objective, which is a good thing, right? Because you kind of want to deter it. Right? You kind of want to drive their attention away from you, or drive your attention away from the mission, and just kind of having to deal with that air support drone, because that air support drone is pretty tough, right? For anyone who have yet to experience Killzone Shadowfall, those things are pretty tough, and for anyone who have experienced it, I'm pretty sure I don't have to sit here and give you guys a full speech on how OP those things can be. Right, they're definitely strong. Now, one thing about those air support drones, I've been checking out the forums, and a lot of people are complaining about how OP they are. And actually, although they are strong, just think about it. Dude, they're not people. They shouldn't have the same amount of durability as the players. They are machines, right? And some people may say that, well, look how OP they are, look at how strong they are. First off, with it being a machine, more than likely, the munitions are a lot stronger than what you would have in, let's just say, your assault rifle or even your shotgun. So of course they're going to kill you a lot faster than what a player was, right? So that's why you should have the incentive to either shoot it down with a missile, shoot it down with your regular ammunition, or if you were to lay down a ground support turret, you would be able to take down an air drone with those. Or at least the ground support turret can at least assist you with trying to get rid of that air support drone. Right? So just like with the ground support turrets, they are awesome for suppressing fire or trying to remove your opponent's attention from either you or the mission objectives, because no one wants to get shot over and over and over from a ridiculous pesky air support drone. And that's why I love it. I use those air support drones especially in the park. There's a few areas you can kind of use it in the slums, but for the most part, the park, the forest, and a few other maps that pretty much have a lot of open areas. If you guys notice, I'm going to go ahead and throw down my air support drones now. Right. Now, these are especially good for certain missions such as, let's just say capture and hold. Right. A lot of those missions where either you or the opposition, for the most part, is going to be pretty stationary, right? Like either search and destroy, either attack or defend. What's another mission? Capture and hold. And there's a few other beacon missions, right? Especially when you're kind of in one of those situations where you need to protect. Actually, there's a certain mission called beacon theft. Right. And the goal is you're supposed to go all the way into the opposition's home base, you steal a beacon, and you return it to your home base, right? That's kind of like where the touchdown area is. So one thing that I've noticed in a lot of these missions is that guys will go after your own spawn beacon, but they don't necessarily have guys back at home to protect, so that in the event that the opposition is able to grab a spawn beacon, they can't return it. So one thing that you can do, either you can drop an air support turret or you can drop a ground support turret. And I think both of those are good in the event that you basically don't want to waste manpower on trying to prevent guys from dropping off that beacon at that objective. So they are awesome at serving as a deterrent. Now, granted, they don't last forever. At least in Killzone 3, they would last as long as the player lasts. Right, but I think the way they have it right now is actually a little better, because let's just say you're able to drop the signal for the air support beacon, and let's just say 2 seconds later you get headshot. Well, if they kept it the same way that they kept, if they kept it the same way as they had it in Killzone 3, your drone would automatically disappear. But that's not the case in Killzone Shadowfall. At least in Killzone Shadowfall, it would last as long as whatever level will provide. So in other words, I think level 1 is like, let's see, what is level 1? Level 1, it lasts for 60 seconds. Alright, 60 seconds period. And at level 11, it will last for 80 seconds. Right, which is pretty good. especially seeing how strong those are and seeing how many kills you can get. Now, like I said before, a lot of people are calling for those to be nerfed. A lot of people are calling for the ground support turrets to be nerfed, but I really think that those guys are really crybabies, right? Because they are machines. They're not supposed to have the same amount of durability as a human player, and they should have stronger munitions than what an ordinary player would have in whatever type of weapons that they use. Now, like I said before, they're not that OP because you can take them down with either a missile or ground support turret or any other type of ammunition that you may have with your weapon. So that's pretty much it with regard to the air support turrets. Right, and keep in mind you can use it in combination with other type of turrets. Like, let's just say, for example, you drop an air support turret, right, and let's just say 2 seconds later you die, but your air support turret is still out there. You can go ahead, switch abilities, and pull out your ground support turret, right? And, you know, granted, they will both be there providing fires for a little while, but as soon as the timer is up. So at least you can, you know, potentially have double the support fires from both the ground and the air. So that is pretty much it. You know, there's a lot of incentive for you to go ahead and keep it out so you can try to earn your way toward 400 kills, because you get a longer duration with a smaller cooldown. And, you know, I think it's cool for a lot of those open areas, but like I said before, I personally prefer the ground support turret because I just love those ground support turrets. You just give me the support class, give me the sickle, give me a ground support turret, and, you know, we're in business, right? We're getting as many kills as we can. Alright, so now that we're done talking about the air support turrets, let's just go ahead and leave the rest of the commentary for what's going on here. So it looks like this particular mission is, let's see. Alright, so this is search and destroy attack. Alright, and for a lot of you guys that are not familiar, the only thing that we have to do is obviously search for the target and engage it so that it can blow up, hopefully. And it looks like now we are on the beacon theft, and this is actually one of my favorite missions, right? So we are over at the opposition's home base, so you know they're feeling a lot of pressure because all you see is Hellgas boots on the ground, right? So just to ensure that we have boots on the ground, I'm going to do whatever I can to go ahead and pick up these guys as fast as possible. Now, you know, I don't know how much I have to stress this, but if you guys are playing the support role, your primary focus should be revitalizing your team, picking those guys up, reviving them whenever you can, right? Because one thing that I notice a lot of times when I'm playing, like I'll lay there, and a lot of times I'll lay there on the ground for a long time. And the main reason why I'm just laying there is because, you know, there will be other support guys within meters of me. But the thing is, a lot of them are so busy shooting that they're not really picking up their teammates, you know. And, you know, when it comes to support, you kind of have to pick and choose your battles, right? If it's not necessary for you to engage, go ahead, take a step back, and revive your teammates, because as long as you are reviving your teammates, that's more boots on the ground, as I always say, and you're more likely to accomplish the mission. However, if you're trying to go in there and play Rambo, right, John Rambo, you could end up dead, and that's less boots on the ground, and that way your team doesn't have time to progress. So always keep that in mind, fellas, when you're playing the support class. There's nothing wrong with taking the seat back, you know, stop firing as long as someone is not directly targeting you. Taking a quick look around. Now, like I said before, I'm not talking about you being 50 meters away and you're just sprinting across the map. If that's not feasible, don't do it. But if it is feasible, go ahead and revive your team. Personally, my rule is 30 to 40 meters. Right? As long as I don't have any direct pressure towards me, I'll go out and I'll try to revive as many people as I can within a 30 to 40 meter radius. Right, so that's about it. And actually, I'm going to have some more videos coming up of not necessarily the Killzone Shadowfall multiplayer for noobs, but just some good games that I had. Right, I was covering all kinds of maps. And so far, out of all the maps, I think the only map that I don't really like for the most part, I would say, is the Spire. But pretty much every other map, I think they're awesome. And that's just my least favorite. I'm not even saying that the map is necessarily bad. If you guys notice, I'm just trying to go John Rambo right in their faces. And actually, this is their home base. Right, and somebody may say, Brigade, dude, why are you just so deep in their house? But guess what, guys? As long as I have a teammate around and they have enough time to revive me, and as long as I have enough time to pop off with a grenade, Exhibit A, not only will I die, but I'll be able to take some of those clowns with me. Right? So that's why in a lot of cases I don't really care about being deep in their house, because the more pressure that I can put on them, the more defensive they will be. The more defensive they will be, the more my teammates will be able to exploit that weakness. Right, so alright, this is pretty much the end of it. And like I said before, we have one more support class ability to discuss, and that will be all for the support class. After the support class, I'll dive into the assault class and I'll talk about their abilities, and I'll do the scout class last. And after I do all of the abilities, I might go ahead and start attacking the individual weapons. So I hope you guys enjoyed this particular video. Please stay tuned for next time. Martyrs Brigade is out.
We have recaptured beacon. First beacon secured. You got 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
To the foe, we are less than human, but they will learn their mistake, my people. We will show them the iron and steel beneath Helga's flesh. We shall cast them against the unbreakable rock of our collective wills. We will make them realize the truth that the children of Helgan know in their hearts that our race, the Helgast nation, is the next step in the evolution of mankind.